Good morning, everyone. How is everyone doing? I hope everyone is well. It's another beautiful day, and we are here to do the Course in Miracles lessons. And the lesson for today is lesson 79. So let's get right on it. Let me recognize a problem so it can be solved. A problem cannot be solved if you do not know what it is. Even if it's really solved already, you will still have the problem because you will not recognize that it has been solved. This is a situation of the world. The problem of separation, which is really the only problem, has already been solved. Yet the solution is not recognized because the problem is not recognized. Everyone in the world seems to have his own special problems, yet they are all the same and must be recognized as one if the one solution that solves them all is to be accepted. Who can see that a problem has been solved if he thinks the problem is something else? Even if he is given the answer, he cannot see its relevance. That is the position in which you find yourself now. You have the answer, but you are still uncertain about what the problem is. A long series of different problems seem to confront you, and as one is settled, the next one and the next arise. There seems to be no end to them. There is no time in which you feel completely free of problems and at peace. The temptation to regard problems as many is the temptation to keep the problem of separation unsolved. The world seems to present you with a vast number of problems, each requiring a different answer. This perception places you in a position in which your problem solving must be inadequate and failure is inevitable. No one could solve all the problems the world appears to hold. They seem to be on so many levels, in such varying forms, and with such varied content, that they confront you with an impossible situation. Dismay and depression are inevitable as you regard them. Some spring up unexpectedly, just as you think you have solved the previous ones. Others remain unsolved, under a cloud of denial, and rise to haunt you from time to time, only to be hidden again, but still unsolved. All this complexity is but a desperate attempt not to recognize the problem, and therefore not to let it be solved. If you could recognize that your only problem is separation, no matter what form it takes, you could accept the answer because you would see its relevance. Perceiving the underlying constancy in all the problems that seem to confront you, you would understand that you have the means to solve them all, and you would use the means because you recognize the problem. In our longer practice periods today, we will ask what the problem is, and what is the answer to it. We will not assume that we already know. We will try to free our minds of all the many different kinds of problems we think we have. We will try to realize that we have only one problem, which we have failed to recognize. We will ask what it is and wait for an answer. We will be told. Then we will ask for the solution to it, and we will be told. The exercises for today will be successful to the extent to which you do not insist on defining the problem. Perhaps you will not succeed in letting all your preconceived notions go, but that is not necessary. All that is necessary is to entertain some doubt about the reality of your version of what your problems are. You are trying to recognize you have been given the answer by recognizing the problem, so that the problem and the answer can be brought together and you can be at peace. The shorter practice periods today will not be set by time, but by need. You will see many problems today, each one calling for an answer. Our efforts will be directed towards recognizing that there is only one problem and one answer. In this recognition are all problems resolved. In this recognition, there is peace. Be not deceived by the form of problems today. Whenever any difficulty seems to rise, tell yourself quickly, let me recognize this problem so it can be solved. Then try to suspend all judgment about what the problem is. If possible, close your eyes for a moment and ask what it is. You will be heard and you will be answered. Alrighty. So today's lesson is all about us recognizing what the true problem we all have and how we can solve it. So the crazy thing here is that we already have the solution. We already innately know what the solution is, but for whatever reason, we seem to disregard it, avoid it, not think about it. It's not in the realm of our thought, because all the problems that we face on a daily basis supersede everything, and we think they're each individual, they're each have significance to us, and we're trying to find solutions for them. And like the course says today, we solve one and another one pops up, and it's a never-ending chain of problems that keep coming towards you, and sometimes in a deluge of so many things. Well, so like the course is saying and telling us today, it's like we have to really take the time to focus and realize that every single one of those problems are just the same thing. They all boil down to separation. We feel separate from God. We feel that we don't have what we need, and so we're looking for solutions outside of ourselves, trying to solve that problem. That problem, separation. We feel separate. We feel alone. We feel untaken care of. We feel at peace. We're fearful. Every single problem that arises in your life usually is rooted in fear somehow. Some sort of fear that you will not have something. It could be love, money, peace, all these fears of not having those things, when in reality, all those are already there. You already have them. They're inside of you. It's just that you're focusing on the wrong place. You're not recognizing the real problem. So that's what the lesson is trying to tell us today, is that we need to focus on what the real problem is and stop focusing on all the different problems that are arising in our experience here in this world, and that we are saying, that's the problem. I need a solution for that. And because what happens is you get the solution for that, but then another problem arises, because the true problem has not been solved. The true problem has not been taken care of. And the reason it hasn't been taken care of is because you haven't really been focusing on it. You've been focusing on all these other problems that mean nothing, that are just part of this illusion. And when you solve those, they solve nothing, because you solve an illusion. Something that's not real is getting solved, but something that's not real, so the real thing doesn't get resolved. See how confusing that is and how crazy that is? But that's exactly what we do every single day of our lives. So today's lesson is all about refocusing and trying to guide our minds to realize what the true problem is and how the solution is already there for us. All we have to do is shift our perception and see it. So the first and long practice here today is all about allowing ourselves to focus on all our different problems. Okay, we focus on them, whatever they be. Your lack of money, lack of love, lack of peace, all these different problems that we see here. Focus on them for a bit, and then realize that they are all one and the same. They all really boil down to you feeling separate from God, you feeling not connected to God. You can't be at peace if you're not connected to God. You can't feel at peace if you're not connected to your soul. Can't feel at peace if you're not connected to your source. All these things are really truly what the problem is. So you do that. You focus on all the things that you think are your problems, and then realize that there really is only one problem. And then once you do that, you You ask for what the solution to that problem is, and it will come to you. You can close your eyes, you can be at a quiet place, however you want to do it. Just focus, and then you'll hear the answer. And the answer is, you know what the answer is. It's focusing on God and realizing that you are a beautiful, happy, filled with peace and filled with love spirit. And you're never disconnected from God. You always have Him with you. And every problem that arises means nothing, really, because in reality, you are already saved. You are already whole. You are already complete. So that's the longer practice period. Now, the shorter practice period is what they're basically, courses telling you that it's not going to be focused on like a specific time frame. It's more of like when you need it. When you feel that thing bubble up in you where you feel you have a problem or you are encountering a problem, that's when we apply today's lesson. We realize that, okay, I'm seeing this problem right now, but the problem that I'm seeing is not really the problem. The problem is I feel disconnected. I feel separate. The separation, that's the problem. So anything that arises, any kind of problem that comes forward today in your experience, remember, that's not the real problem. The problem is feeling separate. Okay? And what it tells you to do and to say is to quickly tell yourself, let me recognize this problem so it can be solved. So it's basically telling you that when that problem arises, you recognize it for what it really is, and then ask for the solution. And you know what the solution is going to be. The solution is going to be focus on God. Don't see this problem for what you're seeing with your human eyes, but rather see it as another attempt of being separate. And what you need to do is not be separate. And so you can choose to see the problem that comes to you from a place of fear, or you can choose to see it with love and reconnect to your source. Okay. So, a really interesting lesson today. It really helps us deal with what we think are our problems in a different way, and realizing and coming to a connection with God that is at a different level. So I hope you attempt today's lesson and do your best. Remember, it's not a test. Do it as best as you can, and hopefully it will allow you to get on a higher level with yourself. Okay. Well, thank you for joining me in my journey. I hope you have a wonderful day. And remember, you're not alone. You're at peace, and you are whole and complete. Have a nice day.